Hello, I'm DelusionDispeller. Today I'm doing a remake of my video entitled, How Did DelusionDispeller Begin? Now, I received a couple of emails asking about my credentials a while back. So I want to talk to you a little bit about how I came about, how this whole channel came about, DelusionDispeller on YouTube. When I began this channel, I had no credentials whatsoever. I simply had gone through a very horrid, painful, difficult experience with a mentor whom I often call Anita in my videos. That's a pseudonym, of course. She has a different name in reality, but to protect her identity, not that she really deserves her identity protected, but also to protect me from a lawsuit, I use a pseudonym for her. And yes, I'm aware that she probably watches my videos, and no, I don't really care that she watches them. In fact, I hope if she does watch them that it convicts her, and maybe one day she comes back to me and realizes what she did was wrong and hurtful, and also launched me into a brilliant career. So, but at the same time, I do hope she got help, and it appears she has, because she seems pretty happy with her new life. So, who knows? Anyways, I had met Anita through an online chat group. We were very, not really close when we first met. She just sort of sat in the background, really didn't say a whole lot about herself. We were with other people in a ministry room together, online, called a chat room, but it was a ministry type group where we actually sang worship songs, and we preached, we prophesied over people, we prayed for people, that sort of thing. So Anita very much stayed in the background for about a year until she crawled out of the woodwork, took me under her wing, and I began to experience what narcissistic personality disorder is comprised of behind closed doors. And let's just say the situation left me disillusioned, devastated, and a mess. At that time, I went on a medication called Topamax. It's an anticonvulsant. It was very experimental with different types of problems. It was believed by my psychiatrist at the time that I was slightly bipolar. And that psychiatrist told me that he felt this came about when I was just an infant and I had lost some oxygen when I was first born. My mom says she doesn't think that that could have resulted in bipolar necessarily, but there is so much still being discovered about different disorders and how they affect the body and the brain that I guess I may never know. I was on Topamax for about 9 months. I also went on 3 different antidepressants, such as Cymbalta, Lamictal, and one other that I can't recall the name of. So for a total of about a year, I was on medications. So if you do need medication, it may not mean that you have to stay on it forever. I didn't. But if you do need medication, there is no shame in it. Sometimes things happen in our brains that don't allow the hormones to adjust right, and brain chemicals sometimes get out of balance. In my case, I was able to get off the Topamax after 9 months of being on it and try the antidepressants until my 3 therapists came to me and told me my own mental illness symptoms probably developed as a result of being married to a narcissist and having a very close friend slash mentor who was possibly narcissistic and borderline from her behavior patterns, what I shared with them. So my own mental illness symptoms of depression, anxiety, having trouble controlling my mood swings were due to my marriage and my relationships. So you really do get affected by the company that you keep sometimes. Upon going to a marriage therapist after trying many of them, I read Dr. Phil's book that stated that you should earn your way out of your marriage. I did what I could to fight for my marriage. During this time, my husband cheated on me, gave me 2 STDs, both of which I'm healed from, thankfully. I began to really think about my life and what it was worth to me. I decided that at that time I had to help other people at least. At the point I was at, I didn't know how to help myself, but I wanted to alert people that there are really abusive people out there, and that when they talk to other people about the abuse, sometimes they're not going to be believed, or they're going to be said that they exaggerated things, or they got the story wrong, or they were just getting it, you know, totally confused, and they were just under stress, or whatever people have told you when you tell them how abused you were. So I had to get the message out that, number one, it was not their fault. Number two, I did believe them. And number three, there was hope. Although at the time I really didn't know what that hope entailed, because I myself was staying in the abuse instead of getting out at that point till much, much later. So I wanted people to know that I knew what it felt like to have people not believe you, to say that you're exaggerating and making things up, to feel so disillusioned when these people get done with you that you don't even know what your favorite food or color is. I decided after that I would go back to school and get credentials, because 9 times out of 10 people would ask, what right do you have to be giving this information? What are your credentials? Did you learn this? Did you go to school to learn this stuff? Are you legitimate? And rightfully so, because you don't want to be taught by a quack who knows nothing of what they're talking about. However, I started this channel before I was credentialed, and I've removed many of those earlier videos. However, at this point, I am credentialed. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in psychology from my local university. And if you called there and asked them, they would vouch for me and tell you that yes, I was taught and trained, passed with flying colors. I graduated with my bachelor's degree magna cum laude, with my master's degree summa cum laude. I have worked as a life coach and advisor since 2006. I have my own beliefs and manner of doing things, but most people would tell you that I am very sensitive, I'm a good listener, I'm careful, I'm gentle but firm, and very directive and clear in my approach and techniques. I treat people as close to how I'd like to be treated if the roles were reversed, if I was the client and they were the therapist or the life coach. I do have videos that go more into depth about my training, so do feel free to watch those as well. I will include the links to those videos below, and also they're right here. So I hope that explains and gives clarification on how Delusion Dispeller began. The actual name Delusion Dispeller came about because I wanted a word that explained and expressed exactly what you go through after abuse from a narcissist. You feel disillusioned, but Delusion Dispeller was too long. So the next thing I came up with was, well, they kind of leave you in this delusional state, and their behavior is very delusional. So hence the word delusion. And what I do is seek to get rid of the delusions and expose the truth. Thus the word dispeller. Delusion Dispeller. That's how I began. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, for being my viewers, for being my supporters and my encouragers, for being my friends on Facebook. And definitely please send your comments, your questions, etc. if you want a session. I do offer paid sessions. Please contact me at DelusionDispeller@gmail.com. As always, it was a pleasure and has been a pleasure and will continue being a pleasure to serve you in any way that I'm able to. Thank you for watching. God bless you. If you're in an abusive situation, please get out. Tell a safe person if you can't get out, and have a plan B at all times, no matter what. Have a plan B. Know that there's another place you can go. Know that there's other people you can talk to. Know that there's a way out and that there's hope if you can't get out. Thanks a lot again for watching, and stay tuned as I tell you and bring you more insights into narcissistic personality disorders and other psychological traumas and disorders. Thanks again. Bye.